Hi everyone, I already did an unboxing video that I put on the Instagram stories and on TikTok when the Quadcortex first arrived and I opened the box for the very first time. Today what I want to do is show you what's in the box also, but now explore the unit a little bit and do kind of a simple demo for starters. And it will be my first time working with this unit. So the first thing I saw when I opened the box, and you can see that in the photos on my Instagram account, was the book that comes with all the pre-order units. And this book has a little bit of the story of the unit, the pictures of all the steps. So the casing for the unit, let me show you. The casing for the unit in many versions. So they went through 5 different box versions and 4 different labels, and everything is here for the casing, for the labeling, for the circuit boards inside. So it's a very interesting piece that comes with the pre-order units. Okay, let's look at the box. As you can see, you have the Neural logo, black on black, very nice touch. And inside, the first thing you see, it's a design of the unit on the protective cover. But also inside, and it came like it was stuck to the top cover, you have the certificate of authenticity for the unit. And each pre-order unit is numbered. So mine is 695 out of 2000 units. It is signed by Doug and Francisco. Okay, going back to the unit then. If we take off this very nice protection, you have the unit itself with a gigantic screen. For a reference on size, here's a tube screamer next to the screen, so you can have like a size comparison. Okay, so I will take the unit out of the box. It's a bit heavy, but not really as heavy as one might think. It kind of feels, I would say, sturdy, you know? Doesn't feel like it's gonna break, but it also doesn't feel like too heavy. One thing I'm noticing for the first time right now is that the numbering, so it's identified as a pre-order and the pre-order number is also here. And this is the manual. We won't use it right now. And these are the connection cables. Okay, a few details on the unit that I would like you to see before I plug it in is you can, this won't focus, but you can see like the machined bezel. It's not painted, so the unit was first painted and then they machined the bezel. Is a really nice touch. As you might know or not, the unit doesn't have any rotary buttons, because the switches are also rotary encoders. A lot of people didn't trust this technology for having switches and rotary encoders on the same like mechanical part, but to be honest, for now they seem pretty sturdy also. They are detented, so you can like rotate just 1, 2, 3 notches, you know. They click just like normal switches you would find in any multi-effects unit. As for connections, you can see you have a lot of them. So you have XLRs in and out. The XLR ins are also jack inputs, so they are combi or combo. You have sends and returns. You can have external effects like in the middle of your chain, and you also have MIDI functionality, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna use, to be honest, because my expression pedal has MIDI output, but it also has analog output, and the unit also has like the expression switch inputs. So I'm not sure yet. And then you have the USB. Important note, this unit has Wi-Fi connectivity, so the USB could be interesting to use this as a sound card. But on the other hand, the connectivity to like save patches and everything, send things from the cloud to the unit and vice versa will probably be all done by Wi-Fi. Before we go any further, I have to say, given the amount of inputs and outputs and everything that this unit has, it really makes me think that it could really be a good audio interface to have in your home studio. On the one hand, you have all the connectivity that you could want for a small studio or for like individual recordings, like in my case. I live perfectly well with my Scarlett 6i6. And on the other hand, one thing that I've been considering is the idea of using external DSP so that my computer doesn't have to be that great of a machine, although I have a rather recent computer. My old one died and I had to buy a new one. But if you don't have a really good machine, and with a unit like this, you could have your audio interface with microphone connectivity and also DSP capability. So if you wanted, for instance, to, let's say, record your vocals directly through a compressor and some EQ and maybe some reverb and go straight into the DAW already with a little bit of processing, or if you want to do that with the bass like I do, I actually use always a preamp and a compressor in front of the sound card, and I always record my DI is not completely unprocessed. So in these situations, the Quadcortex could also be a really good and interesting investment. One thing I only noticed right now while taking the cables out of the box, they send you 4 small rubber feet if you want to put on the unit. I probably will, I think, not sure, have to think about it. And they also send you a small Neural DSP pick. I can show you on this camera. Which is a nice touch, to be honest. I like when people send you... Oh, and it's a Cortex. Okay, it's a nice touch. I kind of don't want to use it, so I don't mess it up. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to send an email to Neural DSP to see if they can sell me a few more of these. But yeah, picks are a nice touch, always. The USB cable they send you, and this is very important, they send you a USB cable. Unlike some other brands that I love, but want you to use the cables you already have at home. And I'm not talking about music brands. And you have the power supply with a lot of different plugs. Okay, I will plug it in for the first time. Okay, so we are powered on for the very first time. The light show is interesting, I have to say, and the screen looks amazingly sharp. Like, really sharp, honestly. I'm gonna move my lamp a little bit so it doesn't reflect on the screen so much. And I'm going to try to focus this a little bit better. And we are live. Ouch. Like, you wouldn't believe how sharp the screen is. It's just as good as any of my devices or my computer. And the LEDs, this is kind of an important thing that I have a gripe with some pedal manufacturers. Is that the LEDs, they are bright. I believe they should be bright enough to be seen on a stage, but they are not hurting your eyes bright. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna connect the Quadcortex in the simplest way possible. I'm gonna take the base, plug it directly into the Quadcortex, and take an XLR out and plug it to my interface and directly into the DAW so we can hear what's going on with this. For this first test, I'm going to use my Dingwall. We have a blank preset. That's how I like to start to test things. We can look into some of the presets that already come with the unit, but for now I just want to do like a really simple, really what I used to do on other units and see how it goes. I have the Dingwall in passive mode and I'm using the two back pickups together like a big humbucker. Logic is just recording completely raw and what comes out comes out. This is completely flat sound. The first thing I do is add a compressor. So let's go to the unit, look for a compressor, and let's do an optocomp. And now, okay, one thing that I remember talking with the Neural guys on the forum was if we are going to have an indication of the gain reduction on the unit. They told me yes, but I don't see it, so it's probably not implemented yet. We have to remember that this unit is brand new and it came out as soon as they deemed it stable, so there are quite a few features that are still not implemented. That only means that I have to tune the compressor by ear, which is a good thing. So by pressing the buttons and move it up and down like you would do in a DAW, you can set up, but you also can see the LEDs that are lit. Those mean that these encoders are working. So if I want to adjust the ratio, as I was doing, I can do this and it's much more precise. So for my input compressor, sometimes I use really high, like 8:1, but now I'm gonna go with like 6:1, something like that. I'll set the thresholds really low, as low as it can go, and the attack I want a slow attack, like on the 20 millisecond or something, and a really fast release, so like 130, yeah, something like that. Makeup gain, I'll have to test it. So okay, let's see. On the high note, I don't really want any compression. Just set the makeup gain to 0 for now. Okay, so this is still compressing a lot. On the low notes, I need to lower the thresholds. sounds kind of on the spot. I just need a little bit of makeup gain. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Okay, let's stop messing with this. What I'm gonna do is add a high pass around 30 Hertz, but the really high slope. So that will only cut me like the really low rumbling that can't be reproduced by any speakers. I'm gonna press done here. I'm gonna add another block. Let's add it right there. And I want to filter. Nope. Yeah, high and low cut. Let's set up this. I want it to be around, whoop, not so much. I want it to be around, yeah. So, yeah. Something like this. Now that I'm done, okay. So you can see it's really easy to operate the unit. Okay, I've read the manual when it first came out as a like beta, and it was posted by Neural on the forums. But aside from that, this is my first interaction with the unit, so you can see that's really simple to use. Okay, I usually split my signal, so that's what I'm gonna do now. To split the signals, you long press on an empty block and this screen shows up. And now I can move my high pass to the other line. And now we can hear how it sounds. I think I want it cutting a little more of the signal. Yeah, now this sounds about right. On this side, I don't want anything else, maybe just a little bit of EQ. And I will also use that gain knob to adjust the level of my low signal. On the high signal, I will just put an overdrive and an amp and a cab. There are a lot of overdrives on this unit that I simply love, namely the EBS stuff and the Darkless stuff, but I will go for the recipe that I find works like 90% of the time, and that is a tube screamer into an SVT head. For the tube screamer, I will do the typical of setting the overdrive really low, the level really high, and the tone I will shape it after I hear the sound. The amp, I will play and adjust it by playing, but I want the cap to be there before I do that, because I want the sound of the cap to affect my overall sound. By doing these steps, I made the signal chain exactly as I wanted it, because now I have the split right after the compressor and it joins back together after the cabinet, and now I will have to put the outputs on the right line. And let's see how it sounds. Let me just take the bass part out of the signal to listen to the driven parts in detail. It's a nice driven bass sound, but it's not really what I want. I should take the bass out of this, put a little bit more mid-range. Maybe the treble a little bit higher, a lot more gain. Now the tube screamer can be used to EQ the sounds a bit. Getting there. Okay, this is really growly and not a lot of bass, so I think it's time to add the other channel. Add a little bit on the 100 Hertz. And now I'm gonna lower the driven side. try it a little bit with the pick. For first tries, it sounds really good, but now let's see if I can find a preset done by someone who knows what he's doing and not by me. Okay, you can see that if I press the preset name, you go into the factory presets. These are my presets. I'm going to go to the factory library and see what I can find. Maybe I will use the search and search for bass, and you already have few presets like 12th string bass and amped SVT, flip tops, a lot of stuff. Let's try this darkless one. Okay, kind of complex. Let's see how it sounds. With a pick first. Okay, now with the fingers. Interesting, clean sound, simple sound. Let's try another one. I remember seeing Doug doing a Muse preset on Instagram, so I'll try to find it. Now let's see if I can remember how to play Muse. Not the right song, but still same band. Now let's try Hysteria. This, kids, is the proof that good gear doesn't make you play well. In any case, for me it sounds pretty much on point. I don't know how much time he spent doing this preset, but it sounds really good. Okay, finally, I'm gonna try to just find a preset by Eric Arco, and then we can go to the final thing I wanted to show you on the unit. We have this massive bass preset that Eric tried to max out the CPU capability of the unit. And another thing I can use this preset to show you is how the unit can be played in what usually is called live mode. I can change how everything is operating on this button. So now each stomp switch is used for a preset, but if I do this, they can be used for scenes. So I have, on the same preset, I have different scenes. Let's see if anything changes. maybe it's better if I can switch the view to scene mode. I remember we had some gestures like, crap. Okay, so pulling from above, you go into your IO mode, but that's not what we wanted. Pulling from, okay, there you go. Pulling from below, you go into the scene mode. And now we can hear just the high side of this preset. The mid side. And the low side. And this is the main sound, like the whole preset. Okay, that's all for the presets and the sounds. Now I'm gonna connect everything to try and do a capture, and that will be the end of the video for today. Hopefully I will do more content on the Quadcortex, because just doing this video I'm completely in love with the unit. I knew this was gonna be amazing, but yeah. So I've been waiting for a long time for this, and I don't regret it at all. Honestly, I don't. I don't think it's that thing of you spending a lot of money on waiting on a unit and now you want to love it. Now, and up until this point, I mean, it's an amazing unit. A lot of people have been trying to do captures, and I could just tell you to go see one of the other more professionally done videos on that, but I really wanted to do a capture also. First of all, to try to see how it goes, and second of all, because there is a unit I really wanted to capture on the Quadcortex, and that unit is this one. Now it's a compressor, it's a Black Finger, but this one has been used by Amos Williams of Tesseract. He sold it to me on Reverb, and he usually uses this as a tube saturation, and that is why I wanted to capture it. Let's set everything up together. Okay, going into the menu, you have on Quadcortex, you have neural capture, and now you see how you're supposed to connect everything together. Now the instrument should go into the return one, so that's what I'll do first. Now next, I will do the output in the same place where it is, out one left. Okay, I will need to send a signal from the capture out into the input of my unit. And finally, I'm going to connect the output of my unit into input 1. Now I'm going to confirm that everything is properly connected. The idea now is that you play a little bit with the unit you're trying to capture to get the sound that you want using your instrument. I will set up the Black Finger in a way that it's really noticeable the effect it's doing, although that is not really the point, but that's what I'm going to do now so that we can have a noticeable capture. This is the sound without the pedal. And this is the sound with it on. Especially on the lower notes, you can hear like the compression and the slight distortion. And now we are going to start the capture. Okay, we are done. And now you will want to try out the reference against the capture. And to do that, you just play. This is the reference. So that means that this is the real pedal. And this is the Cortex. While I know this is not the most noticeable pedal to do this, I think it's there, it's the same to my ears at least. That is all for today. I will continue to try the unit and continue to explore and continue to share with you all the things that I find. As I said before, I will say it again, I'm very happy with this unit, to be honest. So see you next time and follow for more content on the Quadcortex and many other things.